just have a little look around. But think about the great access we've got on the buses now. Isn't that wonderful? Transport all over London. You can get on the buses. You can get on the buses in Kingston. I use them every single day virtually. So I want to leave you with the thought, if we want our organisation to be strong, then we all need to play a part. Doesn't matter how small a part or how big, but all of us can do something to make KCIL better known, providing better information, making access across the community better. And the great thing is it will be for everybody, not just disabled people. So hopefully in my role as your patron, I will work hard to ensure that KCIL gets better and better known, that people know what we do, that people know what is needed in the organisation and externally. So thank you very much for inviting me to be patron. I hope I serve you well and for many years to come. So thank you.
We now come to the business of the AGM, and first of all I'm just going to speak briefly about what KCIL has been doing, and I'll be asking our Treasurer Laurie to come along, and he'll be giving us some more detail about where our finances are and so on and so forth. Well, I have to say that we've had something of a new start this year. We have Theo Harris in place as our Chief Executive, and I have to say she has done an absolutely wonderful job since she has joined. We've had a very difficult time at KCIL, but since that time Theo has single-handedly turned it around. We now have investors and people. I think that our office is working very well. If you talk to any of our staff, they'll say that things are moving smoothly. And as a result of all of that, RBK, our main funder, Royal Borough of Kingston upon Thames, I think has great confidence in us. That's why they're prepared to entrust us with so much money, so we can use that for the benefit of disabled people. So I'd like to thank Theo for all the work that she's done. I'd also like to thank our trustees. Our trustees turn up month after month, day after day. Sometimes they're in the office. None of them are paid. They come in there. They do huge amounts of work. And this will be work dealing with personnel issues. It might be money issues, all sorts of things. They all bring different skills to the table. Unfortunately, not all of them can be here today, but I'd like to thank all our trustees, and I'd like to say that they've done an absolutely splendid job. We're always looking for new trustees because I would say to them, I went to a lecture the other day and they said that the maximum time for being a trustee was 2 years, in which case I should be out of here by now. But anyway, if you want to be a new trustee, please apply and we will consider it. Obviously there are duties and responsibilities that come with it, but we are an open organisation, we're transparent, and we're always trying to encourage people to put themselves forward. I'd also like to thank our volunteers as well. We have a number of volunteers working on different projects, particularly on our website. Jane over there has done a huge amount of work on our website. It's looking really good. Have a look at it. You can, I think, maybe even be able to join as a member on it. But anyway, have a look. And I'd like to thank all our volunteers for all the hard work they've done, because without them, quite literally, the organisation would be in supreme difficulties. And finally, I'd like to thank our staff. They're all here. I'm not going to ask them to put their round of applause. Yeah. They have worked tirelessly over the last year, and indeed for many years, keeping our organisation together. And without them, literally, KCIL does not function. They've stuck with us through difficult times, and I hope that they will continue to stick with us. But they have done an absolutely superb job, and so my thanks goes out to them. Okay, right. I don't think I'm going to say too much about what KCIL has been doing. I think you all know that we achieved our investors and people. That was a key thing in my view, because it proved that internally we were doing the right things. The other thing that we have been doing, as Anne has said, is that something that is key for us, it's a key policy, is that we have to go out and get new funding. At the moment, most of our funding comes from RBK. Okay, that's great, they've got confidence in us, and we're now undertaking a new brokerage service as well. but we need funding from other places. But Theo has been working very hard, together with members of staff and trustees, to put out applications. You will be aware that now is a very hard time for charities. However, my own theory is that the money is there, it's simply a matter of unlocking it, and that is something that we are continuing today, day after day, applications going in. It does take a long time, but because we're a much stronger organisation now, we look a lot better, I think. Our chances of getting alternative funding are far higher. So I think that our chances are great, but it will take a long time, but that's something that is a high priority for the trustees and for the staff as well. Okay. The first bit of business that we have to look at are the minutes of the annual general meeting, which were held on Friday the 14th of October 2008. And can I take it that those minutes are agreed? Didn't hear any no's, so I'm going to take that as a yes, basically. As you can tell, I'm a politician, I'm good at putting these things through. Having agreed the minutes, we now have to approve the accounts. Now I will be asking Laurie to come up and talk about that. But can I assume that the accounts are approved?
I think I perhaps will explain them first.
Laurie will explain it. I do apologise, Laurie.
That's okay.
The next piece of business is appointment of a director. A director is the same thing as a trustee. They mean the same thing. We are a company limited by guarantee, which means that we have directors. But the directors are essentially trustees as well. So when you hear the word director, it means trustee. I'm a director and a trustee. The way that we appoint directors in KCIL is, according to our Articles of Association, they rotate. So it's like they're on a little merry-go-round, going round, and every so often, one person falls off. The person who has fallen off is Laurie, and so now we have to put him back on, and it's an automatic thing, and I assume that Laurie Lee, our director and trustee, is reappointed as director. Okay. I think that that probably brings me to the end of the actual business. And now I'm going to ask our Treasurer, Laurie, to come up and present our accounts.
Could I just add my thanks to our new Chief Executive, who has done a fantastic job. But I think there's a team there, a team of two. I mean, I'm not suggesting the rest of us trustees are not supporting them and the staff, etc. But I do think Malcolm and Theo together make a very good team, and my thanks go out to both of them. We have the feel of a much stronger organisation this year than we did at this time last year. Some of you will have the accounts in front of you. There may be just a couple of copies on a table. I'm not going to spend an enormous amount of time, but there are just some things that I need to take you through to give you a better chance of having a feel as to where we got to financially. The first one is page 11. And on page 11, you'll see a report from our independent auditors. They come from just across the river, so they're local, they're Ghanaians, and they are basically saying, in their opinion, that our accounts give a true and fair view of the financial transactions and the balance sheet at the end of the year. We'd obviously be very unhappy if they didn't give that view, but they have, and you need, I think, or can take some satisfaction in knowing that they've been properly signed off.